Hello, welcome to My Healthy Appetite. I'm Chef Leon Rothera and this is Dietitian Bridgette Wilson. We are going to be showing you how to cook for a range of health conditions, gluten intolerances, dairy allergies, but with a special focus on low FODMAP cooking.
The low FODMAP diet is a diet that is commonly used for managing the symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome. In each episode we're going to discuss one of the common nutritional downfalls of following the low FODMAP diet and how to address this.
Okay, so now we're going to be doing one of my favourite things, torched salmon. So if you've eaten in Japanese restaurants, you've probably had torched nigiri, which is the little rice ball with the piece of salmon over the top, and it's just torched, so it's lightly cooked.
So salmon is recommended in the Mediterranean diet twice a week, and then that's associated with some of the heart health benefits.
Yeah.
So things like having lower blood pressure and lower cholesterol associated with the diet as a whole. So this is one of our high fibre recipes. So for this one we're using a natural whole grain that contains fibre, rather than going for one of your kind of store staples like a gluten-free bread. So what have we got here?
Quinoa is for 2 people, so it's going to be 200 grams of cooked. I like to cook it so that it's still got a little bit of bite. It can go really stodgy if you overcook it. So in there I've got a handful of spinach. I'm going to put my 200 grams of quinoa. Bridgette told me that we should not peel vegetables to attain more fibre. That's true, right?
Yeah, so just keeping on the skin on your different types of vegetables, so things like courgettes, carrots, aubergine, that type of thing. If you can keep the skin on, then that just gives you another type of fibre. So it gives you some roughage to keep your muscles in your gastrointestinal or your bowel working hard. Give it a good wash though, because you want to get rid of the dirt.
Bridgette, please could you grate the carrot
Grate
for
the
me?
carrot for you, sure.
Thank you very much.
Sure, why not?
Okay, so also what I'm going to do, for a nice bit of colour and some added fibre, I've got some radishes here. I'm just going to cut them into the mini discs. Anything special about radishes people should know?
It's a low FODMAP type of vegetable,
Yeah.
adds a nice peppery crunch to things. Again, it's adding another colour into your dish as well. In terms of fibre, it's just adding to the fibre of the dish really. They're not particularly high in fibre, but they are another vegetable source.
I think so. Then I'm going to add, you may be familiar if you've eaten Japanese places at all, I'm using wakame seaweed, which is dried. Everyone's familiar with nori, which comes on the outside of sushi, but this is a dried wakame. And all you do is soak that in warm water for just a few moments, and it ends up like this. Lovely. You think that much would end up like that much. You see? Okay,
So it's adding kind of fibre in the same kind of way that spinach is. It's just a bit more interesting and adding an Asian flavour.
Yeah, definitely.
And wakame is one of the things that is kind of moderately high in FODMAP. So you're allowed it on a low FODMAP diet, but in a kind of balanced amount.
Right,
so the fact that it's kind of half wakame, half spinach makes this still within the bounds of a low FODMAP diet.
Right, so we're going to use for the dressing, and don't forget, check below for ingredients lists. I'm going to use soy sauce, about a tablespoon.
Okay, so this is where we're getting the salty flavour from. So soy sauce is quite low in sodium actually, even though it gives you that nice salty punch. Yeah, so it's quite a good salt replacer to add into dishes.
Fish sauce, about a teaspoon. It's a great addition and goes particularly well with lime and sugar. And I'm going to add a squirt of lime juice as well, which I think pretty much always needs to go with fish sauce just because it's quite harsh, and this is just offset it perfectly.
So in here we've got the quinoa, which is, it's a whole grain, naturally gluten-free, so naturally wheat-free. So it's a really good thing to be using when you're following the low FODMAP diet, because one of my main concerns is that when people take wheat out of the diet, fibre intake goes down. So replacing wheat with things like quinoa that are whole grains is a really good way to maintain that fibre while following the diet.
Sure. I needed some sweetness, so I've added a little bit of golden syrup, but you could use some palm sugar or brown sugar as well, that would be fine.
Yeah, so sugars are low FODMAP, so they're allowed on the diet.
Cool.
A lot of people think you've got to cut sugar out completely, but you don't.
And we've got a little bit of sesame oil, and also I like to use is just a little bit of tahini. It's really great, adds a nice little creaminess to my dressing.
Nice.
Now, this is the important bit. I'm going to take 3/4 of this dressing for my salad. And the last bit I've got here, I'm going to add some more golden syrup, another teaspoon. And I'm going to use this to brush onto my salmon. Give that a quick mix.
And this would be like something that you could make in advance and take for lunch.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
Put
This
it in a
is sort of
lunchbox.
I would do this for my daughter at school.
So getting prepared.
Yeah. Fish doesn't need to be marinated that far in advance. It's not like lamb or beef, which needs a lot longer for the flavours to permeate. Give it 20 minutes. So just to finish off the salad, I've added about 150 grams of bean sprouts. Bridgette's going to add in the grated carrot. And now comes the fun bit. I'm using a blowtorch. Like I said, you could use a grill. metal tray. And that sugar is just going to help to caramelise the salmon as well. As you can see, we're just starting to get some nice little caramelisation on the top of the salmon. I'm going to keep going for a minute or two just to start cooking the salmon through a little bit. So sort of halfway through, like the same way you would with a seared tuna steak. Right, so I've torched that for about 2-3 minutes either side. Like I said, you could go under the grill with that as well, but just gives a more direct heat, and that dark caramelization is delicious.
Nice.
Okay, so here we go.
Oh, that smells really good.
Now a little bit of salt. And I'm gonna add another little squeeze of lime. And this is super healthy. Pretty much no cooking involved, right? And I've got, you can see what I've done with the salmon here. I just took a normal portion of salmon and I've just split it directly down the middle to butterfly it. Let's have a few coriander leaves. Look at this bad boy.
So there we've got the torched salmon, high fibre, quinoa and Asian vegetable salad. It's a good high fibre dish using also a portion of your oily fish.
Nice one, let's get some of that mayo in there, let's tuck in. Check below for how to make my homemade mayo.
I can really taste the sesame coming through on that. That's
Charred
really
salmon,
nice, and the wasabi
peppery.
mayo is really good.
Yeah.
So up next, we're going to show you another high fibre recipe that you could use for a dinner.